What's up? Ableton Gaming. What gaming do you do, Ableton? I mean to ask you that. We are live. Woo! Good. I'm glad, Josie. It's good to be back. Only one stream last week. Missed you guys. Oh, nice. RB, what's up? Yeah, we are. We're getting rolling here. I have this this chart up on the screen, and I'm gonna leave it here as people join, and we'll start talking about it. We can just kind of kick it for the moment, but this is the only chart that matters right now. So we'll spend some time talking about it. Highlander DeFi. I am Varant. RB Zerny. Got a lot of people in here. Jared, what is the highest leverage you will use? Well, I've said it before. 9,000. You know, it really varies. Probably, like, if I feel super good about a setup and I get like the perfect trigger with a super close invalidation, so it's like either I'm gonna get it right or I'm gonna get it wrong, and it'll be like rather apparent pretty quick. Like, I'll stretch super hard and use like 3.5 times leverage. And I'm not going over that. So yeah, I'm a little bit of an anomaly in that I don't use leverage like other people. Sometimes I will go more than that. Like I'll go to 5x and use 25% just to give myself some room to average in, and then just kind of reduce down once I'm fully sized. But yeah, for the most part, that's about it. Like right now, I'm 1.75x short, but you know, it's just unnecessary risk. Like we talk about all the time on here. The short. The biggest thing for me is to not be like pressed into a situation where like the raw dollar amount starts fucking with my head. Okay? And it doesn't matter how much you have or whatever. Like there's a dollar amount that can start to make you feel uneasy. And I want to stay away from that. Like, I know it's all percentages. I know it's just a game that I need to play and just execute what I do on a consistent basis, and I'll be fine. But there's certain things like I don't want to get above. I've talked about it a long time ago, long before most of you were here, that a strategy I use with alts and with some things is that I never let an account get over like 50 grand. Like I'll switch to a new Trezor, I'll switch to a new Ledger, something like that, just because I feel like it's easier for me to double 50 grand than it is to double 200 grand. And that's stupid. That's purely psychological. The games don't play at all. But I don't know. I felt like more of a scrapper when I had a smaller account. So, I don't know how to say your name. We got a lot going on there. Question was, why hedge instead of closing position? Because my collateral is still in Bitcoin. That's why. So I trade on Bybit. And my collateral is Bitcoin. So that way, essentially, I can be net long with no position open, right? Because I'm holding Bitcoin, which is what I like to do. So if we get back down around here and I see a reversal, but it's too early for me to get long, like I don't have a trigger, I can close my short. And then I just have Bitcoin held open in Bitcoin. So it's effectively like being long. I'm holding a Bitcoin open position. Like if I thought it was going down, I would sell it to USD, right? So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's why I do that. I'll hold my collateral in Bitcoin or in Ethereum, and then I will 1x short it. Because ultimately, I'm trying to acquire more. Like when I short, I'm trying to gain more Bitcoin or more Ethereum or whatever it is. So you just have to be a little more active in managing your position. Now, like the stuff that I was trading alts on. Oh, okay. What's up, Naga? My Trezor is sitting in USDC. Like, I don't have wrapped Bitcoin or anything in there because it's too hard to manage, too big a pain in my ass. But the stuff that I have on exchanges, I will keep in Bitcoin and then just 1x short until I decide to close that or go long. So pretty straightforward. Like, do I think Tether? Yeah. I mean, I use USDC. I use the term Tether because it's more of like I feel like an industry term to be like, I tethered up. So I'll say like I tethered, but I use USDC because they're embedded with Coinbase and that's my on and off ramp. So that's what I use. Tom's talked about, and so has Ataxia, has talked about, we'll get to that. They've talked about how that will come off peg. And they do come off peg in times of like high volatility. But, they return. So sometimes they might not. Who the hell knows? What it is. What's up, Dan? A lot of FUD out there saying that Tether's a scam. That's been around forever. Again, like people that predate me have been dealing with this bullshit for a long time. So I'm not really going to talk to it. It is what it is. So here we go. Let's talk about Bitcoin for a second. And I like to put my little annotations on the chart to make it as clear as humanly possible what it is that you're looking at. So like, do I need to draw in green and red to, signal support and resistance? No. Do I need to draw boxes to show what like area of support or resistance is going to be? No. But as I've talked about before, I'm like Guy Pearson Memento, man. I like to leave myself breadcrumbs. I like to put things on here to keep my head in the right place. So when I have those moments of weakness where it's like, well, maybe I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Then, hey, what's up, Dale? Good to see you, buddy. Then I'll have a place, to go back and look. So this is as clear as this can be right now. And we may be seeing this flip down right here in process. It's pretty cool when we got legends like Dale come in and watch. I do appreciate that. Dale's a good dude. One of the best in the business. I spent a lot of time talking for over a year now, which is pretty cool. So Dale the legend. So what we might be seeing right now is just flip down. Because look at this. And I'm going to zoom in on purpose, okay? So you guys can see what's going on. 1, 2, 3, a little bit of 4, 5 wicks into this area, okay? When you see wicks being shot back down again, what is that? What's happening? Oh, you're a legend, my friend. Don't be modest. You are a legend. Dale is... I'm going to have Dale on soon. How about this week? Dale, you want to come on this week and chat? You want to come on and tell some old school stories? Man, your stories are the best. Why don't you come on one of these days? What day works for you? Hit me up. Hit me up on Telegram. And we can figure it out. But Dale has some great stories. Absolutely Dale on stream. Always a good thing. So I Am Variant said to my question about when you see these wicks, what's happening? Well, it's literally supply. It's literally supply. At that level, people are selling. They're providing supply to buyers, right? So you see this area that we're going back to over a month now. It was support here, it was support again. We undercut it. That's why I drew this line here. When you undercut, you typically go to the top side and test the top side, which is right here. Okay? And then so you have RRSS, overshoot to the bottom, overshoot to the top, and we got this mega wick down, whatever that was, a week ago. Yeah, literally a week ago today. And so you see this additional line here that started to form So like that's pretty clear. Where the hell's my? There we go. Like pretty clear support. It's essentially a double bottom, but we're like now in this mini range between essentially 31.5 and where we are right now. I guess it's 34.6, where we're just kind of banging through. And if we kick off here, I put it on this chart. Everything gets thrown off when you go out of aspect ratio, but we're essentially forming a double top higher low. And the thing is, like, you guys will start to do this as you trade more often, but you don't need to be on like a lower time frame necessarily to see this as a double top higher low. Like you can see it, it's already here. 1, 2, it's 2 hits that are pretty damn clear. So like we're at a crucial spot right now. Like I cannot stress this enough. If we cannot break through here, I find it very improbable that we will not go down and retest the lows. So I said to open the stream, although some of you joined late. Like I'm currently just under 2x short at this moment with stops over highs. So if one of you has a big time bankroll and you want to knock me out, go for it. Knock me out. I don't care. I have my risk measured. My stops are above here because I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to play that game. Like I will play what I feel to be a high probability short at this moment because I've seen the supply wicks. And when it comes back down here and I see a reversal, I'll go long again, right? Like it's just a simple matter of trading your plan and having a plan to start. Yeah, Careless and I have had conversations for a long time about using leverage, and Careless is an outstanding trader. With a battle with leverage. I don't know. Maybe that's unfair, Careless. But that's generally how I feel. So you look at market structure and make a determination. Yeah, 100%. That's 100. Then you lose it all in one trade. Exactly right. That's the power of leverage, y'all. The funny thing about leverage, guys, is this is how it typically works. I'm going off on a tangent already here, but typically how leverage works is like you're willing to leverage long, and like you'll take small, nice little clips and like close out because you're like, all right, I used high leverage, so I'm gonna close this thing out. So you do, make a 10% gain, which don't get me wrong, it's like nice, it's really good money. And then you'll close early on super high leverage longs. And then you will ride super high leverage losing positions into the fucking ground. Right? And that's why it's very, very tough. So, let's pull out a little bit. I'll go to 3-day because I think it's slightly more clear and my screen is less annotated, right? If we're going to do a market review, you take a look at this and say, well, what do we see? Always pull out. It's good advice. In a few different ways. It's super good advice. What do we see? Okay. On a 3-day, you can make a case that's a Head and Shoulders. Yep. Make a pretty good one, to be honest with you. Next level here. Here's the funny part about Head and Shoulders, guys. Like there's two ways to look at Head and Shoulders patterns, and they're not the best things to trade. But typically speaking, the distance from head to neckline, if it breaks on the bottom, is where it will go to the downside. Now, you go, oh my God, it's 102%. Well, no, it was 54% from top to bottom here. So you could see a 50% drop from those prices. So what we talked about would be like 17, 18, 19, 20 grand if you break the neckline here. Here's the other side on Head and Shoulders. When you get a Head and Shoulders failure, The rule is you take the head. So, head and shoulders, people always look at and say is a bearish pattern, which is true. I don't think there's anybody out there that'd be like, oh, head and shoulders pattern, this is beautiful. You should definitely long the shit out of that. But there is a bullish way to play it. And the bullish way to play it is if you see the right shoulder failure. And in this scenario, that would be like, you know, an actual close above this area. Then you can feel pretty confident it's going to take the head. And by take the head, I mean make new all-time highs. So there is even a hopium case out there, even when things look pretty freaking dire. Now, going back here, I mean, I can't even, like, every time I look at this shit, I'm always confident in my determination. You go to line chart, look at that. I mean, that is a double top lower high right there on a daily chart. Okay, they don't have to be right next to each other. And we're in the process of doing it right here. Double top lower high again. Right now. Yeah, Careless. It's essentially invalidating an industry standard bearish structure. It's a very bullish sign. Right. So essentially what Careless is talking about is what I talk about all the time. Put yourself in the position of the people who are, I mean, everybody sees the head and shoulders. Like everybody sees the head and shoulders. And so if you see one invalidated and has clear invalidation, which a head and shoulders does, then everybody piles on. So emotionally or psychologically, people are going, hell yeah, I'm getting in. And so they start, that's when you see crazy ass short squeezes. By the way, I'm going to pull this up. I'm kind of jumping out of pattern because it happened. It just activated right now. I want to pull this up for you guys. This is an active short that I'm in on Ethereum as well. Okay. That is a perfect MACD bearish divergence on the short. Okay. So it just closed as we started the stream, essentially 15, 20 minutes ago. Target for that, what you expect to see happen is something like this. And here's why. I'll show you what you would expect this to look like. So that's the 50-day. So it's a reversal pattern. You know how I know it's a reversal pattern? Well, let me show you. Oh my God, guys. Look. This was one of our longs. It's the same damn thing. It was a long. Look at what it did. Popped up, broke through the 50, turned the 50 to support, broke through. We're getting the exact same thing from the opposite side right now. The exact same thing. This is why range trading is great, guys. This is the easiest trading I've had in months because it's very, very hard for me to just like YOLO long bullshit. I was not leverage trading during the crazy run up because like all the stuff that I know and the logic behind building like really, really strong swing positions went out the window. People were 50x, 20x, 10x, whatever the hell it is, longing every breakout and it was working for them. And I'm like, I can't even get an entry because these clowns are over leveraging everything. Like everything. And so I couldn't even get a position. Right now, it's like, this shit, look at this. Okay, so if we'd have played this signal, which I didn't, admittedly, I was golfing. I had a tournament this weekend. We got third. I'm pissed about it. I don't want to talk about it. We would have longed here. 1764, and the close would have been just now at 2080. It's a $200 move on Ethereum. Unlevered. And had I been paying attention, we probably would have got it. So this is what I'm looking at on Ethereum right now. I know I'm hopping around, but I wanted to show it because it's freaking perfect at this moment. Like perfect. The interesting part about this is that Bitcoin didn't look nearly as good, okay? So like same time frame, you'd expect their structure to look the same, and it kind of does on the lower time frame. Like you see this double top here, but like Ethereum had that impulse higher, and it probably was the stupid ass Jim Cramer tweet. Or the comment at CNBC this morning saying that he bought more Ethereum, which is fine. So like he bought more Ethereum, good for him. So there was like a little pump up, but Ethereum was really in a lot of ways like driving price this morning. So I actually have like layered into my Bitcoin short by looking at Ethereum price structure. And you guys are probably like, what? It's fucking stupid. And it is. But that's why you kind of have to look to see who's driving price. And here's the thing. Right now, it's pretty clear that on this little mini move, Ethereum was driving the punch up, right? Like when Ethereum started doing this, come on, this jump up is when Bitcoin almost broke out, and then now it's coming back down again, right? So you just got to look on a day-by-day basis, like I talked about last week, like I talk about all the time. When Bitcoin moves, Bitcoin is driver. Sometimes it's just kind of pausing, right? So you got this nice little double top here on Bitcoin. And so, my stops are right over this hop wick. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I'm short right now. Let's go back out. Here's another look at it. Which again, here's that same line, which on my other chart looks like this. The annotated version. And the non-annotated version. Right here. There's nothing about this to me that is like overtly bullish. Okay. We've been talking a lot in the chat, and I've loved having all you guys in there, by the way. So there's a lot of people who have actually joined the Stacked Labs chat, which is very, very cool. Let me see if I can actually get the invite link. I'll drop it in there again. If you want to come hang out and chat, if you think I'm wrong, I don't care. Come do it. Let's see what you got, and come check it out. So it's been really, really enjoyable talking to all of you guys and kind of hearing the different opinions here on what potentially could happen with Bitcoin and why. And yeah, I've had fun with that. So people have different opinions, but it's just very, very hard for me to look at this and be bullish. And a lot of the conversation in the chat room has been about discipline and waiting for like the right pitch, or waiting for, the right setup. And so I'm obviously, we had the legendary 31 long here, 31.2 long, and then we actually got in at closer to 32. And then down here, we had the 29.1. God, probably the best trade I've had in years down here. And so we're always going to be looking to trade these ranges. But if we're talking about like, when am I going to get stupid bullish again? It would take a crazy ass move, guys. Like, it's not just, oh, we broke down a level, okay? Like, for me to get back to let's be crazy bullish, okay? Like, I would need to see these multiple daily levels actually flip the other way. We talked about it last week, and I'll bring it up again here, right? Like, a trend is determined by 3 flips. Well, we've flipped down more than 3 on Bitcoin, right? More than 3 times. So in my opinion, we are squarely in a downtrend. So I would need to see like 3 levels flip for me to be like, hey, this is where I'm gonna start telling my friends again to get out and long Bitcoin right now. It's a range trader's dream. If you are classically trained in any capacity on how to trade, it's a beautiful time right now. I was talking with Shul this morning, Crypto Shul, and he and I were just having a little chat. He's a really, really good dude, knows what he's talking about. Guy's a grinder, like, really happy that I've gotten to know him. And it's like, I wake up in the morning and I draw my lines and I set my alerts. I have a plan. Those alerts are set on my chart, and then I go about my day. I get a text, look at it, come back. Okay, it's exactly where we thought we would. Sweet, let's open a position. It's the easiest stuff there is. Jaspo, what's up, buddy? Hey, resubscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, my man. Subscribe for 3 months. Woo! Jaspo, I'm going to give you one of these for that. Bam. Did I say tier? Oh, yeah, tier 3. Let's go. So anyway, very, very cool stuff. I appreciate you doing that, Jaspo. I've enjoyed the conversation. Hopefully you guys are making money, or you're seeing how I make money, and I'm happy to be able to ask questions. I've talked about this before. Not on tier 3. All right, somebody is. Actually, you know what? JLV is. Jay's on tier 3, which I am very humbled by. Like I've said before, I don't ask for money. I'll never require anybody to give money to hang out. Like I want to help everybody, right? The only reason why I even have that open is it helps me pay for some of the stuff that I do actually have to pay for to do this, but that's pretty small. Hopefully you guys can make money and we can continue to grow the community. That's part of the fun. So, Pimmy asked a question on Hex. I don't even know what it was. Where is it? I'll find it. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. But I'll grab it in a second. Oh, I'm Variant. Thank you. 2 months. You're on a streak. Thank you all for renewing your subs. Very, very cool. I feel like I'm disjointed, but I don't want to like watch you guys resub and not acknowledge it. So I do appreciate you guys subscribing. Helps quite a bit. So thanks. It's nice when I can separate my streaming expenses from my other living expenses. Very, very cool. So we talk about plans. My plan right now is short. I'm short from here. If we get above my stop, I'll close and I'll wait. So what happens? And this came up in the chat too, and I'm glad we're talking about this. What happens? I get knocked out here. You know, theoretically, somebody watching this stream has the capital to go blow me out of my position on Bybit. If they really wanted to, they could just market long the fuck out of it, and I could get blown out. Do it. I don't really care. I've budgeted in my mind. That's either this loss has either been made or this profit's been made, and there's really no in between. So if I get knocked out, I get knocked out. But here is, if I got knocked out, what usually ends up happening is like, okay, I got knocked out, so I'm gonna flip long. Nope. That's when you actually wait for confirmation of the level. So if I get wicked out and it goes right back down, that's just shitty luck for me, okay? And I gotta wait for the next one. That's how that goes. But if we get one of these, then I'll long the bejesus out of that. That's right, bejesus. I'm using it as a word. And it doesn't matter to me if it happens. I don't trade with a ton of leverage. It's not really knocking into my profits. I've had a crazy ass last 3-4 weeks of trading. Like it's been so unbelievably easy. Hex USD. Okay, yeah, I'll get there. Just don't let me forget. I'm rolling right now. So it takes a lot for me to actually change that position. And here's the other thing I wanted to say on Bitcoin, because I think inherently, and then I'll move on to Ethereum, I'll move on to other things. I think inherently, we're all bullish crypto long term, right? Is that fair? Yeah, I am. You know, I don't understand people look on different areas. Yeah, so we're all bullish long term, including myself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't be listening to me. I wouldn't be streaming. I'd just be scalping, having a go. We are all macro bullish long term. Whatever that long term is it a year, is it 6 months, is it 5 years, is it 10 years, is it 25 years, whatever. That doesn't matter. It's not my point. My point in bringing that up is that if you're in this space, and particularly if you're listening to me or anything like that, you're fighting against a bias. And that bias is numbers going to go up. And so it's easier for you to look at a chart and see the bullish narrative every time. it's very, very hard to see the bearish narrative. So you have to work extra hard at that. The number one thing that I learned that helped me when I started trading is the trend is your friend. Do you know how much easier it is right now to short compared to long? It's been easier to short since tax day. Over 2.5 months now. Right here. And so we have this inherent bias that the number is going to go up. But are you able to see the trend clearly right now? And I would argue most people don't. Everybody wants to get long. Everybody remembers that crazy ass run up. And they don't remember that it was an extraordinary circumstance that allowed it to happen. And the trend is your friend. This is such a higher probability trade than this long at 32 and this long at 29.1 were. It's not even close. I'm not even worried about this for a bit. Might I get stopped out? Yeah. That's part of the expectancy. Sometimes you get stopped out. That shit happens. But right now, the easier trade is shorting, but we are all fighting our own internal demons that say, I believe in crypto, I believe in decentralization, I believe that for whatever reason you're in for this, the number goes up. But yeah, what Dan just said, trend is your friend until the end. Yeah, no doubt. 100%. Right now we're in a downtrend. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter. I posted this morning. We were in like essentially this chart, and some guy came in and commented on it and was like, I disagree. We're in an uptrend. And this is the chart essentially that he was using. Okay, guy. A 3-day log chart. Which I find to be super, super funny. But you have to look at it in terms of time frames. On what time frame? Yeah, of course I'm not talking about into perpetuity. I'm talking about right now, we're in a downtrend. It's a very clear way to see when we would resume an uptrend. So why am I fretting? So Pimmy, I understand what you're saying. To be honest, I think Bitcoin will hit 10K before we make new all-time highs. Bitcoin has always dipped 80% after a bull market. Okay, fair enough. Maybe that's true. I don't think that that's always necessarily going to be true. To say that like the dynamics that affect Bitcoin are the same now as they were in 2018 or as they were in 2012 or whatever that's no. They're not. But that's the point of technical analysis. You take what the chart tells you. Okay? If we go to 10K, I'm going to short the shit out of it all the way down to 10K. And I'm going to have 30 times more Bitcoin when we get to the bottom than I have right now. And then when we get the next bull run, I'm going to be like island shopping, okay? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to take what I'm given. So keep that in mind. Always check your bias. Every single time, check your bias, check your bias, check your bias. We all are macro, long-term bullish on crypto and Bitcoin, but you need to look at ways to check yourself, right? I do the Alt-I, okay? That's the inverse of the chart. right? Hey guys, look, it's an inverse head and shoulders, right? The same deal. You just gotta check your bias. You just gotta check your bias. I don't know what that means, Chaz. Chazu. Anyway. Since you asked about it, and I already kind of jumped out once, you wanted me to look at this. Hex USD. Is it available on TradingView? Because if not, I don't think I can look at it right now. It might take me a minute. Pimmy, help me out. Let's look back here. It's actually kind of a nice recovery right now in Ethereum. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, Chezu, I didn't know that. I don't know what it is. I can give you the technicals. That's about it. So, as I just talked about, this is a short signal. The short signal has not been invalidated yet. When you take something like this, the stop's over high, so stop at 21.35. And that's the signal invalidation. So when you get something like this, you essentially long the close and open of a new bar, or short. So the short would be 2082, stop would be here, and you're trying to play the big change in price. And I don't think, the fact that it's gone up doesn't bother me. That usually happens. All right, let's see if I can get Hex USD without it looking like shit. All right. That actually looks surprisingly good. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It looks a little bit trendish. I mean, it goes back a ways. I don't know. I guess I would just say that like getting over this 10-cent deal would probably be a fairly significant thing, and I would expect price to stop somewhere around here. That's all I'd say about that. I just got a pretty good question from Jaspo, which is good because I've had people ask me numerous times about like, hey, is this valid on MACD? So if MACD is just grinding sideways, like literally just moving, I'm sorry, if price is moving sideways, MACD is going to move probably up. And no, that is not valid. Like you have to have a jump in price for it to be valid. Hopefully I can get a better. Yeah, there's one here, right? So trying to find like a super clear example of it. Yeah, here's a good one. Okay, so this ETH BTC here, you see we had like a pivot form here. Price actually moved down a decent amount, comes back up like a significant amount, right? If you look at over the close, we went from 0.078 to 0.081. Like that's a decent amount when you're talking about sats. And you can see that MACD, even though price has moved up a lot, is making a lower high. You need this bend in price. I don't know, I can move that. That's kind of cool. You need that price movement for the signal to be active, or else it's just, not that it isn't active, it's just a lower probability of success. We're seeing like pure, like Bitcoin's breaking down and Ethereum's holding. So like to go back to where we were here with my busy ass chart. Yeah. We had this support level here that broke down. We hit the 0.05 we talked about last stream. We're right back up into the red. So I would be looking for a reversal signal here, which, I mean, given what's happening with Bitcoin right now, it's hard for me to believe that it won't be coming. I have Bitcoin up on another chart, so I'm looking at it. It's at 34,086. But Ethereum's doing all right. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like I feel pretty confident in my short right now. I can be wrong. I'm wrong all the time, actually. The point is, I'm willing to close my positions for a loss, and most people are not. And for that, you deserve to get dunked on. I had a cool GIF I was going to try to use. All right, let's go to this really quick because if you guys remember last week, which I don't remember if it was exactly last week or when it was, but we watched the dump live, and I think we might be getting that again. Remember, we're just starting to kind of jump into this pattern that 1 p.m. shit happens on any given day. Yeah, Jasper. So I was talking about that in the chat this morning, and I also retweeted it and a few other things. But yeah, look at this. This is on Bybit, which is why I have this up. I'm gonna go to our handy dandy. I'll go to 1 minute first. Look at this. That was $394 million in 1 minute. Traded on Bybit. $394 million in 1 minute. That is crazy. I don't know if I can actually get to the seconds that well. But yeah, it was hilarious. All right, so Careless just asked another good question, which we can discuss. Tell me how Bitcoin can drop to the 50-week moving average and Ethereum cannot. Let's go here. So this is back to inception, right? This is not oh, that is unlocked. There we go. Let's check out Ethereum. So your 12,350 is already rising. I'm not going to say that it won't, but that is this level on Ethereum is that level on Bitcoin. Right? This is when it's actually handy to use all the tools that you have. I don't have moving average on here. Oh, this is annoying. All right, there we go. Well, here's one thing I would tell you. There's a longer trail of data, which would impact or inform that number a little bit on the weekly. I think ultimately what it comes down to, Careless, if that's what you're looking at, I know that you have to weight Bitcoin differently. These are not equal assets. So, I don't know. If Bitcoin hit its 50-week and is really going to try to hold this level, it will hold this level and Ethereum won't get there. If we break down, like we just posited that we may break down, then you'll see it. You will see Ethereum at $1,400. So, I don't know. Does that make sense? Yeah, old all-time high. If you guys don't think, if you don't think that is a huge freaking level, I don't know what to tell you. Old all-time highs. That's why it's very, very hard for me to be like, well, 80% drop. No, not 80%. But 65 grand to 20 grand is pretty good, pretty close. I mean, it's a lot, right? Let's look at everybody's favorite. Look at this shit. What a long. I hate Dogecoin so much. I'm trying to not get caught in this trap because I know that everything I say on here will be like stored. So people will be able to go back and pull it if I'm wrong, but I feel pretty damn confident that that would never happen. And again, like, where's 13K coming from? There's only two logical points on this chart. One's here. Did I just erase? No, I didn't. Okay, one's there. One's there. Where's this 13K coming from? Like, these numbers are ridiculous that they talk about. If somehow we were to not hold old all-time highs, which if you've ever met an institutional investor before, you know that's pretty much impossible. Where? Like, where's it come from? Tell me out, dog. Nice little mini rip on Bitcoin just now. What's Ethereum doing? Yeah, not bad. Not bad. We'll see. All right. So, to summarize, I'm short Bitcoin. Yeah. Smells like something's burning in my house. On where I am right now, that's kind of the first level I would look at to close. And I probably wouldn't. So we'll go back here. Take a look at everything. We need to get above this level. If it doesn't happen, then we're just messing around. ETH BTC is into resistance right now. So Bitcoin's into resistance, Ethereum over Bitcoin is into resistance, and Ethereum itself is into resistance right now. So we got, on high time frames, the three that matter are all into resistance right now. What comes next? Pretty hard for me to believe that we're not going to test the lows again. That does not mean we're going to break the lows, but anyway, it looks pretty clear to me right now that we need to get our asses moving to get past this, or we're going to see a lot of hysteria on the timeline again, y'all. All right. Those are obviously... Yeah, so I was about to open up questions. So if you have questions, if you've been in the chat, if there's things I've touched on which didn't make sense to you, please feel free to come in and ask questions now. I'm going to probably stream again tomorrow, where I will do the next iteration of the TA class. I just didn't want to do it today. There's the actual chat link. If you want to come in, check us out. That'd be cool. If not, don't worry about it. So, Mr. Hulabulu says, hey Jared, in which time frame are you looking for the flip? It's a good question. One that is significant, okay? So there is no way that I would ever say, oh man, yeah, look at this 30 minutes, man. We got above it. This clearly flipped here. Like, no. I made a joke earlier when someone said, like, hey, this trend line, though, we should take a look at this. And, like, yeah, that is something. It could hold. But it's like the guy standing in front of the tank at Tiananmen Square. Like, it's not a lot. It's one guy in front of a tank. There you go. Like, it's just not a big enough time frame for it to be significant. So the first signal you would get on it would be on the 4 hour. Okay. But again, I would want to see it flip this level right here. So we're talking about closes above this level. That's what we're looking for. Sure, you can take a shot at that. But like an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, Ethereum looks good. Ethereum is doing good work for where it is. So, you know, short's still open. I still have my short open. I have it on FTX just because, you know, why not? I had some money left over in there. Figured I'd give it a go. But, so yeah, I would say 4 hours would be the first indication. But to your question on how can you validate a flip, I would look for one. And then when we got to the next bar, I would go to the next bar. And then when we got to the next bar, I'd go to the next one. And I would continue looking to make sure that it was flipping the way that I anticipated that it would. Okay? So it's like a constant validation. Is bar time frame? Yeah, so like right now I'm on daily. So this bar is a day. You can see over here, there's still 5 hours and 5 minutes left in the day. On the 12-hour bar, we got 5 hours and 5 minutes left. On the 8-hour bar, 5 hours, 5 minutes left. On the 4-hour bar, only an hour and 5 minutes left. And then hourly and so on and so forth, right? So you essentially can work through and see. Like the 29.1 long that I had, it didn't sound ridiculous. But if you're on here, you saw it. Where is it? Anyway, I got that entry on a 5-minute chart. It's just hard for me to go back while I'm live on stream. Yeah, it's just too many fucking bars at this point. So I had an area, it looked like I thought selling was getting exhausted. So I went down to a super low time frame to get my entry. I just wanted a better entry to make sure I didn't have to go like $300 away from price to get in. All right, what was the next one? I'm Varian. Can you talk a little bit more about how a head and shoulders works? Yeah, so I'm gonna use this example or this chart as an example. Let me get a clean one. BitBay. I don't even know what the fuck that is, so we'll use that. That hasn't been around for a while. BitBay? Gotta ask Joel. Joel knows all the exchanges. So we'll use this as an example. Typically what's most important on a head and shoulders is the neck and the shoulder line match up, which here they do. Okay, so BitBay actually looks like somebody's market making well, or at least arbing well, against the actual main price itself. So you can see here, it's essentially like this is a head, this is the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Okay, so you can see the neckline, shoulder line are parallel. And here's the thing, guys, because I see people trying to force this shit all the time. horizontal head and shoulders, where you essentially get this action, but on like a downward or an upward trend. And no. Is it possible? Sure. It is possible that is valid. But at that point, there's probably other stuff going on anyway. Like there's a downward trending channel. Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a second, Josie. Good point. Thank you for bringing that up. You're helping me in my next train of thought. You essentially would have to have like a downward sloping channel that just has two different bounces on it, an impulse in the middle, and then it came back down and retest the channel. Like it someone I'm sure is out there making the case that like this is a head and shoulders, which is ridiculous. Okay. If you're going to call it a head and shoulders, it should look like this. Right? So you have from the base to the top and down. I'm going to call this from the base to the top and down. Those are two very clearly formed shoulders. Here's your head. The rules of these guys are the distance from neck to head or head to neck. Sorry, need to do that one. If it breaks down to the low side, is how far it will travel. Right? So if it's a 60% move from top to the neckline or whatever it is, there we go. Come on, you bastard. There. 57%. Then if this breaks, I'd expect a 57% decrease. And if it broke out, like Careless talked about earlier, it would be a bearish failure pattern. And this is getting to like trading 401 versus trading 201, which is where most of us are. Most people think I'm going to buy a bullish pattern or I'm going to sell a bearish pattern, but a failure of a bullish pattern and a failure of a bearish pattern are just as good. Okay? Probably just blew somebody's fucking mind out there who's never thought of it that way. But it is 100% true. And you just got to learn what to look for. So, Josie said, and I'm getting here, and if you have more questions, please holler it out. Try my best. Josie just said, there are a lot of resources out there that teach head and shoulders. That's why you hear about them a lot. Yeah, there are. Can you posit a guess as to why? Why does every fucking paid group LARPer out there teach head and shoulders patterns? Any guesses? Exactly right. That's right. Because it's easy to see. It's easy to see. So it's taught all the time. The problem is people don't even know the technicals behind it or what's happening. So they just say, well, if you see one bounce that's equal to another, it doesn't matter where it is, it works. It's all contextual, guys. L-Spark nailed it. Because it's easy to see. And there is value in that. There's value in trading what's easy to see. I appreciate that, Josie. Bitcoin getting a rally against Ethereum. Check me out. I'm about to pull this up. Yes, I'm on a 5-minute chart. Bitcoin rallying against Ethereum. Kind of cool. Yeah, so essentially you'll see paid group leaders and people that are like LARPing as technical analysts, that will talk about this shit constantly. But it's because it's easy to see. Now, I'm kind of talking to two sides of my mouth here, because what I say all the time is that you want to trade what the most people see, because you're going to get the most active participants kind of like weighing into the market, which is 100% true. Like, this is why I make fun of people all the time who trade shit that's so complex that you can't even follow their logic. Well, here's the harmonic and the inefficiency and the order flow and the blah 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 and all that bullshit. Bro, if you need like a cipher to understand your trade thesis, who the fuck's taking the other side of that trade? If you're thinking so much, you're like, nobody sees this, only me. I caught the bottom supporting line on a falling wedge at the 1.769 Fibonacci from the all-time high to the previous all-time low extended out. This is definitely the level. Like, what are you talking about? That's literally why I've said to you that I seriously am thinking about doing a trading contest where I'll put up like $10,000 of my own money. All I get to do is trade horizontal support and resistance. You got to document your trades. If you can beat me trading, you can have the 10 grand. And all I get to use is support and resistance. J King, oh my God. I'm saving that image to bring it onto stream. Yes, I know. I'm going to try to find a way to get it on. Add image, add source, new, crazy shit is what I'm going to call it. Browse. Where did I save it? Downloads. I know it's on here, but there we go. Crazy shit. What are we doing here, guys? Okay. Like, are you joking at this moment? Like, this guy has a downtrend line that he drew. Yeah. I'm keeping this on here into perpetuity. I'm always going to have this on call. Let me see. For when somebody says some dumb shit. What's up, Highlander? Welcome back. I'm just gonna pull this up. Be like, oh yeah, you see, it looks just like that, right? Like, what are you talking about? Just ridiculous. Anyway, I'm sorry if you're getting like seizures from my like jamming this shit on and off, but oh, I know, Jasper, there's way worse ones, but that's again like my my LARPDAR is pretty fucking high. And why I've said to you, like, when you guys come into the chat, when you come into the chat and you ask me about, like, somebody has this system, like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to see anybody else's system. I want to see my own. Quite frankly, if you listen to me and you don't agree with what I'm saying, you shouldn't listen to me. Don't. Menoir, who sometimes comes in here, but now he's too cool, in a group that I'm in 5 minutes ago said, Mexico's finance minister Herrera says cryptocurrencies are prohibited from being used in Mexican financial system. And Bitcoin rally on that news, so, you know, we'll see. All right, what other questions do you guys have? We've talked a lot. I know I've just kind of been firing here, but keeping things simple, making so you have breadcrumbs for yourself to understand your thesis from before, I think are very important. I think Bitcoin's pretty clear. I think Ethereum's pretty clear right now. I think ETH BTC are pretty clear right now. The one thing I haven't done yet is talk about DeFi perp, which I can do. How did I move my volume down there? This is technically valid. Okay? This is probably the most bullish thing right now for Ethereum. All right, we're gonna have to talk about that more. Really, Tom, don't play with me. Let me finish this thought and then we'll get to that comment. So, this is a daily bullish divergence on the DeFi perp. Okay? This could be the bottom for DeFi. This is a very, very, very strong signal. A very strong bullish signal. It is the most bullish thing for Ethereum. It might be the most bullish thing we have going for us in the crypto space right now. Is this. But that's why it's one piece of the puzzle and not the whole damn piece, right? So, just so you know, what would this look like? What would I be expecting to have happen? The idea is, when you see this pattern, that, okay? And this is why I always continue to do this. The idea is to go up, flip the 50 from resistance to support, and continue higher. It is a reversal pattern that if you eventually start looking at this shit when I call it out, you will start to see it. Everywhere. So, okay. JP, Cosmos ecosystem looking incredible. IBC integration across all connected chains. Hashtag Osmo shown incredible traffic in week 1. My question is, are you going to take my recommendation on it? You would be an asset. I mean, look, I need to have a taxi on soon. And we can talk about it. I'm assuming since you two are on it, Tom and Highlander, that a taxi's on board too. Or Tom, maybe you can come on, or somebody else and explain it to me. I'm happy to learn. You know me. I mean, like, you give me a good bullish case, and I'll parrot the fuck out of it and get into other people's ears on it too. Okay. So if you're something that is game changing, look, like I've said to you guys all the time, half the fun of this for me is talking to you guys and like having conversations and meeting people who don't feel the same way I do. Tom and I don't see eye to eye all the time. I like seeing his charts. Other people in the Stack Labs chat, I want you to disagree with me. It's part of the fun for me. You have to check your bias from other areas. Very, very good. And the other reason I like doing this is that you guys are all 10 times smarter than me when it comes to alts. For real. I am the Eli 5 fucking manifestation on alts. Like, explain it to me like I'm 5. If I can't understand it, I'm not going in. If I can't understand it and it makes sense to me from a macro perspective, I'm going in huge. So if we have one of those situations, let's talk about it. So, Weedy Meaty? Weedy Meaty? First off, that's a great name. I'm going to get to your question now. And then we'll get back to Cosmos and all this stuff. Do you have any opinions about XRP? Like if they win the SEC case? Let me pull up XRP. I don't even have them in my hot list, so I probably should. Yeah, you know what? Here's my opinion on XRP really quick. I heard it might have been, it was Raoul Paul talking about this. And it was here, okay? He was talking about this in January when everything went to shit about this case. And he made a point that, like, so he literally, I remember, I should find the interview. He was talking about it during this leg down and like maybe like a little bit after too. So like just while it was down here. I know it looks like a dick. I should probably pull that off. All right. Yikes. All right, let's say he was talking about it here and not in a phallic way. He was talking about it here, and Raoul Paul is probably my favorite macro personality in the space. Like, pretty easily. And he was talking about XRP, and he said, look, everybody's loaded to one side, so I'm interested in it. Like, they're in the United States. Yeah, they got hit with this. If they can win it, what do they become? If they win their case, what do they become? They become like free shots as like a US-based company in crypto. That's a big deal, okay? And what Sam Trabucco always talks about is what I talk about, which is plus expected value. Do you know what the plus expected value is on that if they eventually win? So look, he always talks about it like this, which is a harsh way to view it. But this is the best, like a really good lesson for you guys and for me to relearn is when you put on a trade, the worst thing that can happen to you is what? We've all had it happen to us if we're in the crypto space. What's the worst thing that can happen to you when you buy an alt? Come on. Yes, a rug goes to zero. Or you get stopped out. Tom is talking responsibly, like we're not trading bullshit, right? And XRP is not that. But really, if you long something that you have a really, really good FA feel on, or you feel very positively that it's going to go higher, and you have some thesis for that, the maximum amount that you can lose is 100% of your investment, which is a very stupid way for me to have this conversation. You'd be like, well, yeah, that's my money though. Well, that's... We can talk about managing your portfolio allocations another time, but let's say you set apart $5,000 for something, $5,000 out of a $100,000 portfolio. We're talking about 5%. You put $5,000 in XRP because you go, you know what? Look at this line. Quite frankly, this is retesting a pretty significant level right here on XRP. Like, this is very significant right now. Okay, it's retesting it right now from the top. Hasn't failed it yet. If you feel they're going to win and what that could do for crypto in this country, the most you could lose is 64 cents per each token, or 100% of your $5,000. If they get it right, where does price go? Let's say they win. Let's say they win, for real. Let's say they win that case with the SEC. What happens? Oh my God, a minimum $1. Are you shitting me? New all-time highs, 100%. It would be a new all-time highs like right now. I think in reality, in its first day, it would probably do that. We're talking like 2-3x, but in reality, if you look on a long enough time frame, I think that probably is a 10, 20, 50, 100x move. So are you willing to risk 5,000 for 500,000? It's a really, yeah, so that's the thing. Like, it's a really good point. It's a really good question. It's a different way of looking at things. Okay? Well, weedy meaty. Good to meet you. Are you in the chat? Are you somebody I know, or are you new? You're new? Right on. Well, here's the link. If you got good takes like that, I'd love to hear about you more. Okay? You know what? So, yeah, you're right. People always have inside info, but it's always something that is baked into price. Okay? When people learn about it, it's usually reflected and then the news comes out later. So, you know, it works both ways. But yeah, I think, like, quite frankly, I'm not loading a ton of money into XRP, but like just that thought or that conversation, I'm going to look into it more. If they're reaching towards some sort of conclusion, I might throw $1,000 on it. Literally put $1,000 in XRP and never think about it again. It's lost money. I'll come back in 5 years. Now, that is not typically how I do things, okay? Tom, Ataxia, a lot of other people that are in this room run laps around me when it comes to FA. I don't really know what XRP really has to offer, but from a macro perspective, think about if they get it right. Pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. All right. Cole is OG. Zook. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up. It's a good conversation because like the idea behind why I'd be bullish on it is true of anything, not just XRP, right? Well, I don't know. I'm assuming somebody in here knows better than I do. Probably Weedy Meaty like would have a better update on what that is or when that is. I will say from a technical perspective, what you're looking at right now is not a bad place to get in anyway. Okay. If you were trying to actually trade this like properly, you have a pretty clear invalidation here. And even if you wanted to take a punt on it, like a swing trade, you know, you could limit your downside to 30%, 33%, which in alts is like nothing. Okay. So take that for what it is. But yeah. So it's a really good question because you need to look at that lens in terms of potential upside all the time. You have to look through it. You have to view it from all angles. Like I remember Sue on Up Only talked about Woo, right? And actually, one of my boys on Twitter alerted me to this like here. It was breaking out at like 8 cents and I sold it at like 45 cents, okay? Which was awesome. Great trade. But I heard Sue talking about it because like somebody asked him in an interview, might have been on Up Only, might have been somewhere else, was like, hey, you recently took a position in Woo Trade. And he was like, no, we didn't. We recently updated our website to show Woo on the 3 Arrows Capital webpage. But we've been in it for a while. And so like, I forget who was interviewing it, but the question was like, so what's your exit strategy? And he said, honestly, when we look at things, if we're making a long-term investment, we don't have an exit strategy. Our exit strategy is like, we think it's a revolutionary product in the space. And we believe that until something fundamentally changes with what we're looking at, we're going to maintain our position, which is mind-blowing. Okay. And I still to this day don't know enough about Woo Trade, but I know that they have strong FA. But when he says something like that, that's when like really digging into these crypto projects makes a lot of sense. It's just not my forte. Mine is in FA. That's why I like meeting y'all. Really good stuff. But look at this. Look how well this did. You know, old Jared, it went from $1.40 back down to 28 cents. Yeah, but like it only broke that shit like recently. So like Woo, if we get a resumption of like face melting moves, this will always be on my list to be like, shit, I should get another position in Woo. Plus, you get all those great. I used to have it, the Ric Flair Woo. Regardless, money, right? Good on you. Good questions. All right. What else we got? So RB Zerny and Cerny and Tom and Highlander, we're talking about Cosmos, Osmo, AKT. Tom says I'm an AKT maxi now. Akash, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like we got something here. So we need to talk about this somehow. This actually, again, looks pretty solid. Decentralized VPSs. Googling VPS. Yeah, looks like Ethereum's about to stop me out. Almost there. Oh, okay. Okay, now I get it. One-third of the price of Amazon Web Services? Legit? It's as easy to deploy a website on a cache as on AWS, which Osmosis does. I'll spawn off Cosmos Hub. Now Gravity Bridge will bridge it to ETH. All right, yeah, so this requires a greater conversation, y'all. So it's kind of frictionless. So what am I buying, I guess? Is there what am I buying? Where would I be buying it? Is this only in Decentraland? I mean, I'll say this. Interesting. Cool. Almost there. Almost invalidated. So, yeah, it's about to hit right now. This setup, while I called it out at the beginning, was working pretty well. Something obviously changed, and it's about to knock this out. So it goes. It's part of the game. I'll continue looking. So if we get a punch higher, but MACD doesn't overtake this high, I'll short it again. I'm pulling that off my screen. Interesting. All right. All right, let's jump into Telegram and talk about this a little more. I'm curious to know more about it. Yeah, it looks solid. All right, we are, let's see, did I get hit? 21, 34, 55, 21, 34, 60. Nope. I was $1 away. $1 away. You guys want to watch me get stopped out live on stream? Somebody blasted through. All right. Since I'm going to be streaming a lot this week, I want to try to get Dale on, tell some stories. I'm going to try to get Joel on. I want to get a taxi on. So we might stream 3-4 times this week. I'm going to cut this one off today. Where are we now? An hour and 24 minutes. Unless there's any other questions. So, I'm giving it a minute here. I mean, I theoretically could stream every day this week because I want to do the technical analysis lesson as well. But, yeah, if you have anything, let me know. I'm going to start the countdown. Even though the countdown doesn't work.
5 to the 4 to the 3, 2, 1. Word.
Luke just saw the chart in Telegram and said, what the hell is that? Yeah, exactly. That's the point. This crazy ass chart. Thanks for popping by as always. Thank you to the people that subscribed. Come on into the chat. Let's talk. All right, y'all. Be safe out there. Have a plan. Execute it. Don't be impulsive. I'll see you tomorrow.